أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. Brothers and sisters, this is the night that is called Sham-e-Ghariba, the night of strangers. And that is because on this day Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam were strangers in this land of Karbala. Truly, they had no one that they could call on. They had no one who would come to their help. Everybody that they used to rely on was now martyred and dead. Sometimes it takes a bit of imagination to just think of how these people are now sitting under the sky, each one lost in his thoughts and her thoughts. Because why? This was the day when something that had been prophesied 50 years ago, when Hussein alayhi salam was just an infant, and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was playing with him in the house of Salma. Salma reports that suddenly he began to cry. When he began to cry, she was alarmed. She said, "May Allah never make you cry, Ya Rasulullah. Why are there tears in your eyes?" And he said, "Oh Salma, here is Jibreel, who has told me that this little boy will be martyred in a land far away, killed by the Muslims. And he has given me some soil from that land." Salma says that Rasulullah gave me that soil as amana. And he told me that, "Oh Salma, when Hussein says farewell for the last time, look constantly at this soil." On this night of Ashura, on the night of Ashura, Salma says that I saw a terrible dream. I saw my husband, Rasulullah, greatly distressed and weeping. On the next day, she said, I prayed my dhuhr, but at Asr Salat, when I looked at this little bottle in which the soil was, I saw that blood was bubbling from it. And I said, "Oh Hussein, oh my son Hussein, have they killed you?" You know, there was a sense of disbelief and shock. I have looked at the books of Maqtal, and many of them say that from that morning, there was a sound that was hovering in the air, al-atash, al-atash, al-atash from the children. But I tell you, on Sham-e-Ghariba, the children no longer said al-atash. None of them said, "We are thirsty." Although water had not come, these children would no longer say, "We are thirsty." Maybe they thought, if we are thirsty, Abbas alayhi salam went to get water for us because we said we were thirsty and he never came back. Maybe they are shocked by what the enemy have done. Maybe all they can see around them is bodies that lay on the sand, broken and with weapons that stuck in them. On this day, if you read the Maqtal, sometimes you do not know what to think of the depth of meanness of these animals who had gathered against Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Normally, with death comes the end of enmity. But they described when Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam was slaughtered by these people. One of them grabbed the head and he put it on a lance. And then they crowded around him. Some of them were trying to take his sandals. Some of them were trying to take his cloak. Hamid bin Muslim says they took Hussein's ammama, they took his rida, they took his shirt, they took his sandals. When I saw one man reach out to remove Hussein's ring, but the ring would not come off. I saw him remove a dagger from his belt and start to saw the hand of Imam, the finger of Imam, and I said to him, "Oh Shaqi, what are you doing? This is the son of the Prophet." He said, "If I don't take this, somebody else will take this." This is what they were doing to the Imam. After that, it wasn't over with the Imam. Umar ibn Sa'ad Mal'oon gives out a call and he says, I want men to come forward with horses with new hooves on them. I want to trample this body of Hussein. The enemy soldiers come, some say 2, some say up to 10, and they begin to run the horses on the body of Hussein so that they break his back, so that they break his ribs. Then they are not finished. Now they turn their attention to the camp and they begin to loot and pillage their way through the camp. The ladies are terrorized. They begin to run deep in the camp. The enemy soldiers are coming from behind them, and with their lances they are removing the rida. They are taking the possessions of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. One of the reports says that Sakina, she is small, she is scared. Suddenly she is in front of Shimr. Sakina says the first thing probably that came in her mind, she said, I am an orphan. Maybe because she had seen how her father used to deal with orphans. Shimr Mal'oon slaps this little girl, and then with his hands he grabs those earrings that Hussein had given her and tears her ear and leaves her bleeding on the ears. Who should we console them about? Should we talk about, Ya Zainab, accept the consolation? Accept our condolences for who? For Ali Akbar, for Ali Asghar, for Abbas. Do you know, when the news came to Medina that Abbas was killed, Baneen said several things. One of the things she said was that when they said they had killed my son Abbas, wallah, I did not believe it. I did not think anybody could kill Abbas. But then they told me that Zainab's chadar was taken. And then I believed it. Because while Abbas was alive, nobody would have done this. Now these people, their torture is not over. They suddenly torch the camp. They put it on fire. The women now are running for their lives from one tent to the other. Hamid ibn Muslim says the women were running when I saw Zainab run in and out of a tent, run in and out of one tent. And I thought, what is so valuable that Zainab is risking her life for this? And then I saw her dragging a mattress out in which was Ali ibn Hussein. And she brought Imam Zain al-Abidin to safety. She said to him, Sajjad, beta, should we burn in this fire? Should we remain in this tent? Or should we come out into this open air without our hijab? Imam alayhi salam says, you must save your lives. It is wajib. Come out. Hamid ibn Muslim again says that I saw a little girl. She had, her earlobes were bleeding, but her skirt was on fire, so I went forward. This is Sakina. I went forward and tried to put out the fire. As I got close to her, she said, do not touch me, I am from Ahlul Bayt. Have a care. He said, all I want to do is put the fire out for your little child. When she saw this little bit kindness on this day, Sakina alayhi salam said to him, oh Shaykh, you have shown me kindness. Will you show me one more kindness? He said, what is it, little child? She said, show me the way to Najaf. He said to her, Najaf is very far. It's very far. Why would you want to go to Najaf? He said, in Najaf lies my grandfather Ali. I want to go and tell him what has been done to us here. Finally, Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, now there is one tent that is half burnt. Zainab, Kulthum, and some of the other ladies alayhimus salam, they have gathered the children, they have gathered the widows, and they are trying to calm them down. Kulthum said to Zainab, we should take account of the children. We should see that everybody is here. Zainab suddenly notices that Sakina is missing. She says, where is Sakina? She starts to go into the battlefield to look for her. After a search, she finds the little girl sleeping next to a body, holding the legs of the body. She says to her, Beta Sakina, why are you here? She said, Aunt, this is the body of my father Hussein. She says to her, bodies are known by their heads. How do you know this is your father? She said, I came into the desert and I was crying. And then from this body I heard a voice saying, Ilayya, Ilayya, Bunayya. Come to me, my darling child. I came. I wanted to sleep on his chest, but his chest is broken. So I am holding on to his legs. Zainab says, come back with us now, child. You cannot stay here. She comes. Zainab puts them to sleep. Now Zainab Salamullahi alayha is standing guard on the camp. She looked at Furat and she said, Abbas, till yesterday you were the guard in the camp. Today your elder sister Zainab is guard. She sees some lights coming. It is some women from the opposite camp. Amongst them is Hur's wife. They come closer. Hur's wife says to her, Lady Zainab, we bring some food. We bring some water. Look at what Karima Ahlul Bayt says to her. She says, this Zainab is ashamed in front of you. Your husband was our guest. And we could not give him the hospitality that we are used to. Then she gives her some water. Zainab Salamullahi alayha, in one hadith it is says, that brings the water to Sakina. And Sakina is sleeping. She rouses her up and she gives her water. And the hadith says, when she sees the water, Sakina says, has my uncle come back? Has Abbas come back? She says, no, beta, he will not come back. Sakina looks at this water and runs out of the tent. Zainab says, where are you going? I gave you the water because you are the youngest amongst the children. She said, no, aunt, there is one younger than me. His name is Ali Asghar. And when my father asked for water for him, they gave him an arrow. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب. These are the last days when we can give pursa now to Ahlul Bayt and do ma'tam for Hussein ibn Ali and his companions. Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein.